Hello, and welcome back to the Reactivist Podcast. I'm Marlena Shivo. The big story over the weekend is that President Biden was able to pass the $1.2 trillion spending bill. This is going to keep us from shutting down at least till October, and then we do this all again. The one concession that keeps getting talked about and should be talked about is that the Democrats agreed, President Biden agreed, that the pride flag is no longer able to be flown over U.S. embassies. I think that's a interesting concession to make. And by interesting, I mean backwards. It's amazing what they focus on. I don't understand what the problem is with the pride flag being flown over U.S. embassies. I don't know what it affects. I don't know what it takes away from the U.S. embassies. The United States is a melting pot, right? We are from all different countries. Every single one of us was an immigrant at some point. And no, I am not making an argument for open borders. That is for sure. But we are a country made of immigrants. We all come from somewhere else. And it's the land of the free. Okay? The land of the free. The fact that we are from everywhere else but here means that we are, by nature, a diverse culture. And yes, the pride flag is used specifically to represent the LGBTQIA community. But the larger message of the pride flag is to celebrate diversity. I'm not entirely sure why it was such a sticking point to have this flag over the U.S. embassies. I don't really understand how not representing a certain population of America is a symbol of a free country. The flags that are flown at the U.S. Embassy now are the American flag, the POW flag, flags that represent missing soldiers or Americans who are wrongfully imprisoned. These are all Americans. And we have Americans in this country who fought for their rights to be free, and that is the LGBTQIA community. And they should be represented as well. I'm not sure why Republicans fought so hard to have it removed. And I also, and even more so, don't understand why President Biden would even give in to this. That's how desperate we were to pass the spending bill. It was to take away representation of an entire population of people who have fought so hard to have representation. What wrong message is the pride flag flying over the U.S. Embassy sending, is what I would like to know. And why is $1.2 trillion only going to get us to October? I read that this bill is a victory for our country and that it is going to save us $1 trillion over the next 10 years. I can't even save on car insurance every 6 months. It goes up every 6 months. Maybe I'm just not good at math. White House Press Secretary Jean-Pierre said that this concession that was made was a trade-off for another 50 plus provisions that were buried in this bill to prohibit the rights of the LGBTQIA community. One of the provisions that apparently was buried in this bill was to prohibit medical care that would pertain to the transgender community, which is a hot button item, and it will remain a hot button item for a long time. Let's take that part off the table because that's a whole other topic to debate. Healthcare is unusually complicated. I can't even begin to really wrap my head around how all of it even works, but I know it's broken. I actually have health insurance, and I still pay out the nose for the smallest procedure because of the deductibles that are placed on the policy. I don't understand. You pay all this money out every month to insurance. And I know this is kind of an old argument, but it's getting worse. It really is getting worse. How do you go into a doctor's office, especially in the beginning of the year, right? Because all the deductibles reset. Okay. And why do we even have a deductible? I mean, you're deducting money out of my bank every month in order to pay for the insurance. And now on top of it, you slap a deductible on top of it so you could collect even more money. I went to an ENT. That's it, an ENT. And I had to have a very small procedure done, outpatient procedure. It took about 10 minutes between the initial appointment, the ultrasound, and the actual procedure. Every time I was at the office, it was, well, you haven't met your deductible yet, so you have a $50 copay and you owe us $275 today. Next appointment, you haven't met your deductible yet, so you owe us $50 and an additional $380 or whatever it was. I mean, do the math. Now I think, okay, I paid that, I'm all done. No. Couple weeks later, I get a bill in the mail for the remaining balance of almost $700. I'm sorry. What did insurance pay for? I might as well not even have insurance. That's what that feels like. That's what that feels like. That's the kind of money I think I should be paying if I don't have insurance. But I do have insurance. It makes no sense whatsoever. It doesn't make any sense. Why do I have an insurance card? It just almost seems like joke's on us. Those of us who have health insurance, the joke is on us. We're just paying into the wind. And if you're someone like me, you just pay it most of the time. Who has the time to get on the phone and go through 600 prompts to then talk to somebody who doesn't help you in the end and just says, yes, I can confirm that's how much money you owe. Back when I was doing stand-up, I used to tell this joke about how my husband felt like my friend with benefits, health benefits. And it's so true in so many cases. I mean, there are people who stay in marriages just for health benefits. I mean, that's how bad the insurance industry is, right? So forget transgender, forget what the condition is. There's been this long debate about whether or not we should have universal health care, like so many other countries do. Then I guess that would probably anger all the people who don't want women to have birth control or abortions. You know, it really does get muddy when you pay for insurance, but your moral compass is to keep people from making their own medical decisions about their own bodies. It's a slow drip, right? It's a slow drip. You take away the pride flag. That's a symbol. That is a symbol of freedom that is being taken away. Now, you could say, well, it's just a flag. Right. It is just a flag. So why do we need to take it down? It's not like it's a flag that's representing KFC or McDonald's. I could see not flying those flags at the U.S. embassies, but this is a population of human beings that are American. It's a symbol of freedom. It's a symbol of their freedom. It's a symbol of their rights. Our country was built on freedom and diversity, and that is embodied in the pride flag. Talk about separation of church and state. It's not real. It's not real. Because if there was a true separation of church and state, these provisions wouldn't even be in a spending bill. Roe v. Wade wouldn't have been overturned if there was a true separation of church and state. Because these issues come down to what you believe in when they should come down to individual rights and laws. In addition to the pride flag being taken down from the U.S. embassies, the Republicans are celebrating another victory for one of their team members, and that team member is none other than Donald Trump. This story made me laugh when Donald Trump put out a statement saying that he won the championship trophy at his own golf course, Trump International, for a golf tournament that he played in, right? So he owns the golf course and he played in the golf tournament and he won the championship. And he was very excited about it. Now, I have two thoughts about this. I did watch a clip of Trump playing golf, and I'm not going to lie, I did not realize how good of a golfer Donald Trump was. I'll give him that. I don't want to say I was shocked. I mean, the guy golfs all the time. I mean, you should be kind of good at this point. He's like 165 years old. He's been playing golf since like Nam. He should be good at golf, right? But I was shocked because he's not in the best shape. I guess you don't really have to be in the best shape to be a good golfer, but he can play golf. Good for him. But him winning the championship trophy at his own golf course and touting it on social media is really funny. And you don't have to be right or left to think it's funny. It reminds me of the movie Mr. Mom. That's an old movie. It's from the 80s. So if you're super young, look it up. There is a part in the movie where Michael Keaton has to go to his wife's boss's house for some party. And they did this obstacle course challenge at this party. And during the course of the race that Michael Keaton's character was in, he starts to win. And all of the employees start sabotaging him throughout the race itself because it was known to everybody in the company that the boss had to win. And that was just the way it went. Everybody understood it. Michael Keaton didn't get the memo, but they were knocking him down a hill. He's riding a tricycle. People are pushing. They're getting in his way. All to say, no, don't even try. This is not going to be your victory lap. This is for the boss. That's what it reminded me of. I'm sure that's not what happened. Although I would believe if that was the case in this case, because people who surround Donald Trump want him to feel as powerful as he is and how he wants to feel. But again, that's also negated by the fact that he looks like he's a pretty good golfer. Maybe he should do that as his 2.0. I mean, him running for president is costing him a lot of money in the process. I mean, a lot of money. I mean, I get it. I get that he wants to run for president again. I do. I mean, if you are somebody who just doesn't want to stop working, I get that mentality. Who wants to stop working? What are you going to do? However, he should start a league of senior golfers in the PGA. He could do it. I mean, you got to give the guy credit. He's being sued for millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. Running for president is costing this guy so much money. If I was running for president and people were trying to stop me by taking all my money, I don't know. I don't know if my ego would trump my bank account, to be honest. He's in the last chapter of his life. And he's a pretty good golfer, apparently. So he might want to hang back this round. I don't see that happening. I really wonder if he does have $500 million, though, to pay. He says he doesn't want to pay him. I don't blame him. If I had $500 million, I wouldn't want to pay that. They are literally trying to bankrupt the guy. But he should be used to it. He's filed bankruptcy at least 4 times. So bankruptcy is definitely in his wheelhouse. He can handle it. But I don't know. Biden, if it is even Biden, who got on social media to congratulate Donald Trump, I'm sure it was somebody else, on his winnings in a sarcastic tone. Is that what we're doing? I mean, you are the president right now. And Donald Trump was scrutinized and criticized for constantly getting on X, formerly known as Twitter. When are we going to stop saying that, by the way? For all of his mean tweets. And so much of that is what has shaped people's opinions of Donald Trump, that he's mean. He sends mean tweets. I mean, there are also other things, obviously bigger things than that have affected his reputation, but that was a biggie. He was a mean guy, right? So now we have the current president who hasn't been shy on social media when it comes to Donald Trump. So it's so hypocritical, really. And nobody believes that Joe Biden is sending tweets. I don't believe it's Joe Biden that's actually sending these tweets or these messages on X. God, we're constantly changing the language that we speak, aren't we? Don't call it Twitter, call it this. Don't call it a he, don't call it a she. Okay. But I can't picture Joe Biden having dinner, eating an ice cream cone, and then sitting down with his iPhone and getting on social media. I don't believe it. I don't. I mean, let's face it. Does he even have an iPhone? Or does he have that jitterbug that is geared towards his age bracket for people who need a cell phone, but not a smartphone? I don't know. Flags are such a big deal. Donald Trump was in a flag issue years ago. Years ago. We're talking 2007, I think, 2008. Donald Trump was flying an American flag on his golf course in Florida, and he was told to lower it, and that I think the length of the flagpole was, against some code of some kind, some sort of ordinance of some kind. You can only have a flagpole that's yay high. And of course, what did he do? He doubled down and flew it even higher. Is that what the Democrats should do? You think that's what the Democrats should do with the pride flag? Why not? Why not? Anything goes in this country now. We've been referred to as the Wild West these days, and it's true. Everyone's gone rogue. So now the Democrats are going to peacefully lower and remove the pride flag from all the embassies. Just keep them up. Keep going rogue. What's going to happen, really, in the end? Someone's going to come out in the middle of the night, take down the flag. It's so silly. It's so silly. All this money, $1.2 trillion, $500 million for Donald Trump. I can't imagine having access to $500 million. I just can't imagine it. I can't imagine $1.2 trillion only getting me through the next 6 months or whatever it is. I know it's more complicated than that, but it's just so bizarre to me. $500 million. I get excited when someone gives me a gift card for $100 to Lululemon. What I really need is a gift card to pay my health insurance.